Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today, and welcome to a very special episode of Defining Duke Ultimate, a Defining Duke supplement. This is episode 110. As always, I'm joined by Mr. Minecraft himself, the builder himself, Lord Cognito, with the OG Xbox shirt. I didn't realize that until now.
We're taking it back to the classics today, man. We got an OG in here. We got a veteran, a legend in the game. Lots to talk about, and I'm excited, man.
Craig, welcome to the show, man. Principal Design Director at Mojang. It's so great to have you here. We're going to talk about your history, your deep, rich lore, if you will, kind of like the Star Wars in the background, just deep, rich lore, building up to this moment. We're going to talk about so much more, but how are you, my friend? And welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here with you guys. Happy to answer any of your questions. Yeah, I'm fine. It's been, we launched a game last week, you might have heard of it. So it's been pretty busy for the last, 10 days. So no, I'm feeling great. Just so happy that the game's out and the community get to play it. We've been working for a long time on it. So it's always nice to release something new from the Minecraft universe into the community. So I'm pumped.
Absolutely.
So what would you like to know?
I would like to just know everything about you. For those unfamiliar, let's say, we're in an elevator, we're stuck, it's not going anywhere, and you got to tell me your life story from top to bottom.
Whoa.
How did Craig get to this point here and now? Principal Design Director, Mojang, working on Minecraft Legends. Let's hear it, man. Let's learn the lore of Craig.
Wow, I hope this elevator is going to the 791st floor because wow, it's so I've been in the games industry about 27 years. Started in 95, 96. My first game I worked on was on the Commodore Amiga. It was sprites.
Ooh,
so deep cut.
Yes.
And I actually started. I started as a tester back in those days. The engineers did all the coding and the art. Unless you were an engineer or a coder, right, you couldn't get in the games industry. It was like there's no designers. Like we have designers for everything now: narrative, UI, everything, right? Systems. Right. Back then, there was not even designers didn't exist. And so, as you do, I packed up. I really wanted to work in games, and so I packed up everything I owned, went to London, slept on a friend's couch, and I got a gig in QA in testing. And so I started actually working for Warner Brothers many years ago. They used to have a publishing company. And what was really fun was within about 6 months, we got bought by GT Interactive. And so instantly it was like, oh, you're now testing Quake and Duke Nukem and Unreal Tournament. And I was like, oh, yeah, I've gone to heaven. Very, very quickly, I became a producer and was sort of more in production. And then I went to Activision for a bit in production. And then I started my first studio in 1999. And that went pretty well. Built 4 teams, and we were working on PS2 games with Fox and Sony and lots of people. And then in around 2003, the economy changed. And it was really expensive to make games in the UK because the exchange rate was terrible. And so all the publishers started to switch back to US devs. And so these big companies that have been in the games industry for like 15 years were shutting down. They couldn't get contracts. We lost 3 of our 4 projects. And I could just see like the planes on fire, the oxygen masks are down. And I'm just like, okay. And so I left because it was just inevitable. The industry was just in a strange place back then. And as you do, again, I sold everything I owned, my car, everything, and I moved to China.
Wow.
Okay. Well, that was a left turn. I wasn't expecting that.
Turn. Let's get to that decision.
And so, I had the opportunity to be the creative director of Ubisoft in Shanghai. And so I worked on a few games you might have heard of. I worked on Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, and I worked on Splinter Cell Double Agent. And so I worked on those 2. I was in crunch. This is back in the day, right? So I was in crunch for like 18 months. Like this is when we didn't have quality of life and you lived in the studio and, back in those days. And that was a set contract, right? I was there to help train the local staff, do a couple of projects with them. And then the idea is that we would leave and then let the local teams continue. And so I completed that contract. And then, as you do, I started my second dev in Colorado with some friends, and I made a game you might have heard of. It was called Fat Princess.
Oh,
and so I created Fat Princess back on the old PSN in 2009.
Yeah.
Lots of fun. I just remember because it was a hidden game in like this montage. Everyone was like, "What is that?" And then we just exploded, and yeah, that was a lot of fun. So, but unfortunately, we didn't do a great deal, and we didn't make a lot of money out of it, even though it sold pretty well. After the launch of Fat Princess, we didn't make a great deal of money, and so my partners were like, "There's no money in these little games," and I lived for creativity in digital games. So I made the best move of my life, and I became the design director in XBLA.
Ooh.
And I worked on some games you might have heard of here. So I worked on Trials Evolution. I worked on State of Decay. I'm trying to think of all the games. There's so many games. Trenched. What else? There's so many. One of my favorites, Mark of the Ninja.
The Shinobi approves. Continue.
And my very, very favorite game that I worked on next play was Ori and the Blind Forest.
Ooh, oh man, I got to slow you down just a little bit. I can't let you gloss over all these accolades. You already had me with the Ghost Recon Advanced Warfare, the Ubisoft days. You had me, back then with the Splinter Cell. But like the Xbox Live Arcade days were really a special time because you got to see the indies really flourish. And I remember seeing a game like State of Decay and just seeing how ambitious it was for its time.
It was so ambitious. I mean, to be honest, people might not know this was actually like a multi-product plan because the idea was to create the foundation and then make State of Decay 2, and each time it would build on the foundation. So there was this incredibly lofty dream, but we had to go step by step, right? Because the end was to make like, a giant game. So yeah, working in XBLA was so cool because the reason I wanted to join is I wanted to jump from creative project to creative project, right? And so, in the morning I might be working on Mark of the Ninja, in the afternoon I might be working on State of Decay. And so it was really, really nice. Plus we had Summer of Arcade, and it was a wonderful, wonderful atmosphere. I think we released about 23, 24 games a year. So there was a game coming out every other week. So we didn't do like launch parties because we never get anything done. It was just like next one. So
Pump them out.
So that was lots of fun. And then after that, I had an opportunity to join NVIDIA, and they wanted to work on, this was like 2014, and they're like, in 4 years, we're going to have real-time ray tracing. I'm like, no, you're not. And they said, make any game you want to show off ray tracing. And I built a team, and they just wanted something amazing that made you want to buy the graphics cards. And I worked on that for 4 years. It was amazing. But then cryptocurrency, self-driving cars, deep learning all kicked off, and they're like, oh, we don't need a game now. We can't make our chips fast enough. And anyway, and so I joined Mojang, and that was about four and a half years ago. I originally worked on Minecraft Earth, and then I moved over to Minecraft Legends. So ding, we're at the 719th floor. So that's me in 10 minutes.
Wow.
It feels, to be honest, you guys have been around a while. Like, it feels like sometimes I'm like, did I do those things? It feels like 2 lifetimes ago. Like, was that a dream? Did I really live in China for 3 years? But it just seems so long ago now. It's so distant that I feel like I'm on my 3rd life in the games industry. And I just forget about those things, right? I'm just always focused on the next thing or the next creative thing, always trying to master my craft and just keep going, right? And so I forget a lot of times about those things.
Yeah, it's really not that there aren't other developers that are driven by passion, but it's, you can tell there's a genuine enthusiasm, not only for how much you gave up to keep going, but also like, I think your background speaks a lot to you, right? Just that you have a love for something clearly here, and you seem like very creatively energized consistently. Could you get a little bit into like how you maintain that? Because, a lot of people, I read online about the games industry, like that AAA style development can kind of break you down. You talked about Fat Princess being this like big success in this interesting way, whereas it didn't make a lot of money. So like you had business partners kind of veering away from that style of game. Like, how did you have that desire to continue going? Was it because you gave it up so much, had to go forward? That was the only way, or was it just raw enthusiasm?
With After Fat Princess, I truly believed in indie development and these smaller electronic experiences, but downloadable games at the time was this new thing, and I really believed in it. And I'm looking at like Castle Crashers and other things, and like there's so much opportunity here. And after we decided not to continue with any more digital games, I was just so into the development. I'm like, where's the best place in the world to work on little fun digital experiences? I'm like, XBLA. And so I think it took me like 9 or 10 months to get in because I had to wait for someone to leave. So I just was like in a holding pattern going, I'm just going to wait. And I waited and waited. And I eventually got in. And I remember the first day I started, they were sort of ready for me. And this was so awesome. They sat me down at a dev kit and they just said, this is pointing to the library of all of the games. Just go make yourself familiar with all of the games. And so I pick up the controller and I'm go, Behemoth, what are they doing? And I'm just literally playing for the first week. All I'm doing is on a dev kit, just playing all of the latest builds of everything that was in development. And I'm just like, have I died and gone to heaven? Like, I've got this inside look of all these cool experiences. And so it was pretty awesome.
That's awesome. Did you feel like you were getting away with something?
Yeah, I'm like, am I getting paid for this? Am I getting paid for this? You're just letting me play like Mark of the Ninja and Trials. Am I getting paid for this? Are you sure? Awesome. So that was a really magical time, and I loved it. And the people there were so, it was quite a big team because we had a lot of products and we had producers and designers who had to, work with each developer. But no, it was such a great time. Fun memories.
Tremendous history. I mean, and I just love the varied nature of it because it's indie development, it's AAA development, and then you went into graphics card. You're all over. So to me, you have this very well-rounded, resume and outlook on gaming, and then which leads us to where we are now, right, Maddie? With this game that just came out.
Yeah. Did we launch a game?
Yeah,
I think we did. I think we did.
Minecraft Legends. I just wanted to ask quickly, for the layman, for someone who doesn't know, principal design director, what's the day-to-day, like what's the responsibility that you have entailed with that job?
Well, that's a really good question. Yeah. I was saying before how there's so many different types of designers and, narrative designers, system designers, UX designers. I've sort of gone through those ranks and I'm sort of more in a consultant level. And so my day-to-day is I come in, I look at my email and our communication channels, I see what's going on, but I primarily work daily with Blackbird Interactive, how we're a developer on Legends, and I see what we're talking about. I've got meetings to talk about future updates. I'm analyzing like the community feedback and looking at our list of issues and stack ranking them and saying, this one's, I read today that people are really concerned about this, so let's move that up 3 and stuff. So it tends to change depending on where we are in development, right? If it was, say, earlier in Legends, I'd be having brainstorming meetings and talking about mechanics and different things. And my job really is to help BBI make the best game they can and also help them with the brand. It's possible that if someone was new to the brand, they might do something and I'd be like, in the mythology of Minecraft, we actually don't quite do it that way, but you could do it this way, or this way. And they go, oh, okay, thank you. Because it's important that, and you'll get that whenever you play a Minecraft game, Dungeons, Legends, or what we call vanilla, classic Minecraft, there's this cohesion between them. And that's because of the brand guidance that we give our developers lots of creativity. It's their game.
Yeah.
I'm not telling them what to make, but I'm there like herding the cats. And they're just like,
Yeah.
oh,
I got you. I
you
got you.
know. And so that's so at the moment there's a lot of community feedback analysis, listening to community. I was on Discord yesterday for like 3 hours talking to the community and stuff. So yeah, that's what I do mainly.
Nice, nice.
You
Very
talked a bit about Blackbird. I'm just curious what that partnership was like. Were you there for like when it first came together? Like, how did you guys get in touch with them? Was this sort of and I guess it really goes to the essence of the game, because like I by the way, for the record, really like Minecraft Legends, and I'm just wondering like how even the idea came about. Like Minecraft Dungeons already seemed kind of crazy, but when you thought about it, I was like, it makes sense. But an RTS in Minecraft, I mean, that also worked extremely well. So it just shows the brand flexibility. But once you came up with that idea, which I'm curious how that even came about, when it came to Blackbird, how did they end up getting involved, and what's that partnership really been like?
So I joined the project a little bit later, but I am aware of its origins. Initially, there's always this core feeling, right? A core experience that we're trying to create. And the sort of one-liner is, what would it feel like to be a commander in Minecraft? Okay. And then we came up. So there's a sort of mantra with classic Minecraft, which the game is, as a player, your thought process is block by block. You're thinking, I'm putting the stone here. Oh, I'm going to build this. Now we changed that for Legends to be thought by thought. It's a little bit higher level because it's strategic. And so we're thinking, oh, I'm going to build these defenses. I'm going to put this gate. Oh, I need wood. It's a sort of more higher level thinking than can you imagine if in Legends you had to build like the carpenter's hut block by block? It'd take you like 10 minutes. And so we started to work on prototypes. And once you get your little guy on a horse and there's 50 mobs following you, you're like, oh, there's some little magic here. Like, I do feel like a commander. And that's when we started to look at partners. And we'd already been working with, you might not know this, but we'd already been working with Blackbird on Minecraft Earth. And so they did a lot of development on Minecraft Earth, and so they knew the brand. And then, so we had a relationship with them already, but then you look and they do a ton of strategy games. And so, like, they work on Homeworld and they work on, I can't remember, there's so many. And so we're like, this is interesting. A partner we've already got a relationship with who knows the brand does strategy games. And so we started to talk to them. They started to do some prototypes, and it just sort of went click. And then we continue to work with them, and we have an amazing relationship with them. As I said, we give them a lot of creative freedom and just guide them because it's their game and they're super passionate about it. And so, yeah, that's how it all sort of came around. And then we worked with them for several years. And to be honest, when you're building something new and you don't know quite what it is, it goes like this. And you're like, And I'm told that the very early prototypes look nothing like Legends is now because we tried something and it didn't quite as fun as we want. And then so we tried this, and then eventually you're like, we're onto something. And, the Legends as it is now was born. And so sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get the Play-Doh and find the right shape, right? And then sometimes you have this clear vision in your head and you're like, I'm making this. And then you don't need the Play-Doh because you know what it is. But this was like, we want a feeling of a commander. What does that mean? And so we have to play with all the mechanics and stuff until you find the magic.
It's interesting to hear that the whole design process and that kind of discussion, especially with an experienced partner. I guess the question I have is, obviously Minecraft's huge franchise, I guess my question is more demographic based. Like, how do you, because one thing I noticed, off the back is, a lot of X button kind of making it simplified to kind of to get in and build and do things from a control standpoint. And to be honest, RTS is not easy to port over into the console space. So I want to give you guys a lot of credit in that regard. But I wanted to talk about like that demographic. Like, how do you target it where it's like, okay, we're kind of known for the kids, but can the kids get in on this being a commander? Is it going to be too difficult? How do you strike that balance?
That's a great question. It's so interesting because Minecraft has such a wide demographic of players. I got a quiz for you guys. What do you think the average age of a Minecraft player is? Because I know out of people playing, what age do you think the average player is who plays Minecraft?
I feel like, the part I struggle with these types of questions because my brain immediately goes to what's the unlikely answer? Because that's probably the answer, right?
It might be the likely answer.
Yeah, but
What do you
I
think
would
it
say
is?
that kind of
Good
teenage
one.
gap would be my guess, like kind of a 12 to 16 area demographic, like that kind of age gap.
What do you think, Mr. Cognito?
I'm gonna go. Man, I see a lot of young kids playing Minecraft. I'm gonna go to opposite just to see. I'm curious if I'm right with this. 10.
Okay. The answer is 24.
Wow, completely wrong.
Yeah, my off the path answer was gonna be 18 to 24. That's
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And
Never
so
guessed that.
no, and so you gotta it's such a social game, and parents are playing with their kids, and we know because we have the data that the secret is when kids are at high school, they're like, I don't play Minecraft. I play different things because I'm cool. And then they go home and continue building their 5-year castle. And they just don't tell their friends that they're still playing Minecraft. Everybody's still playing Minecraft. And there's always new people playing Minecraft, and they just get older and older and older. And then they have kids and they play it together. And so it's become this like cross-generational game. But that wasn't your question. Your question was, how do we begin about approaching that? So with such a wide demographic, the important thing for us on day one was approachability. Okay, we're trying to do this action strategy game. Low Cognito's completely right. Many people have tried on console, and the first thing we realized is we didn't want to be 50 feet, 500 feet in the clouds looking down, because then you're trying to do like mouse cursor input on a controller. It doesn't work. And so we went action strategy and thought, let's stick you in the battlefield. Let's put you on the ground. Let's put you in the battle because you're there and you can interact directly. And so we thought a lot about approachability. And one of the things we did was immediately we said, we're not going to develop this on PC and then port it to other platforms. It's going to be built on console from the start. We knew it was going to be on 7 platforms. And we wanted it day one. Doesn't matter if you're on Switch, Game Pass, PC, PlayStation. We didn't care where our community was. They had to play together on day one. And so it's all about let everyone play together regardless of what platform they're on. And so, to be honest, we started to develop it on console, and we started to think about console input and trying to design it for console. And then something we did very carefully was, because, to be honest, Legends is a little bit more complex than classic Minecraft, right? Because you're trying to do something more strategic. We had to do what we call onboarding. You guys probably call it a tutorial, but we made sure that there was a little tutorial at the beginning, but then we made the whole first hour this like playable tutorial that's fun with story that slowly drops in more mechanics. And so people probably don't realize that when you're playing the game, the first hour is just getting you up to speed with the systems. Then as soon as we start what we call Act 2, we go bang, giant strategic sandbox, do what you want. But we spend the first hour. So there's a lot of stuff on approachability, designing it to slowly introduce those mechanics. And then we spent a lot of time on difficulty settings. And so there is a difficulty setting in the game that's made for younger children, where, to be honest, if they built 20 cobblestone golems, they would just like wreck everything. Because it's meant to be like, I'm 8, I want to feel powerful, just let me enjoy the story and trash the place. And then we have our sort of default difficulty that's meant for Minecraft players who are new to strategy. And then we've got the gamers that can go in the third third difficulty, which is like, I know strategy games, give me a challenge. And it ramps up quite a lot. The piglins are much more aggressive. There's a lot more strategic business to do. And then there's legendary, which is like, I like to be hurt, kill me, pain. I enjoy pain. Bring it on. And so legendary, you probably, to really attack it, you probably play co-op, right, with a couple of friends, because the piglins are literally just like full-on invasion. And so it's a combination. It's a combination of designing for everyone, designing with the controller in mind from the beginning. So there's no advantage to being on PC, on your keyboard or mouse. So it was designed for everyone and being on every platform. So it doesn't matter if you've got a Switch or you've got Game Pass or you're on a PS4 or on the older gen stuff, you can play. So it was quite a challenge. It's actually it's quite surprising, actually, to release on 7 platforms worldwide simultaneously. It wasn't only a great achievement for Mojang Studios, but it's actually the largest services and platform launch in Xbox history. Wow. And so because you got to remember 7 platforms, all the languages, worldwide, simultaneous launch. That's a lot of versions. And so, yeah, it was. They say it takes a village. I think this one took an army. So, yeah, huge shout out to the team for all the hard work and stuff. But I hope that answers your question more about like designing approachability, and it's actually hard. I mean, if you're making a AAA game with a certain theme, you know your audience. We're building like for this like we're building for 6 to 50-year-olds, right? And so we have to carefully design it and have that mechanics that are easy to understand. But if you start digging into the strategy, there's layers and synergies between buildings, and if you're a little bit older, you start to pick up on the more strategic gameplay.
Yeah, salute. Kudos to the team. Yeah, tremendous and ambitious. Maddie, what you got, man?
I just want to know, because you mentioned like one of the biggest services and content launches in Xbox history, and I just wanted to leap and ask a bit about Game Pass, because we've had the privilege to talk to a couple like indie developers before here on the show, and really get into how Game Pass is changing not only how consumers play games, but how developers make them. And obviously Minecraft is so far reaching and large that I don't think, to my knowledge at least, I would wager the guess that Minecraft isn't necessarily a game that needed Game Pass to succeed in the terms of Minecraft's Legends. But I'm wondering if it influenced the making of the game at all. Was there any consideration while going along on certain ways you could go about it? Because we've heard some developers say this game wouldn't be possible without Game Pass. Others are kind of non-believers in it. Obviously, being a part of that first-party ecosystem with Xbox, I imagine it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more of a priority. But was there any influence with Game Pass at all? And that will lead to my next question. So if you just want to factor the two in on like how you just kind of measure the success of that game, because we hear so often about the success of Xbox being measured in player count and engagement, but with a multi-platform worldwide launch, I imagine it's much different. So if you could get those two in tandem, by all means, but just how is Game Pass affecting Minecraft Legends?
Yeah, I mean, I can only really talk from my perspective, right? Because I'm not part of the Game Pass team. But as we were talking to before on the last question about approaching as many people as possible and reaching all of our community, like Game Pass is just a no-brainer, right? It immediately goes to all of our Xbox community and all of the Minecraft fans, and so it was always going on it was always going on Game Pass. I mean, if we're going to put it on Switch, Steam, PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series S, Series X, we're putting it on Game Pass because it was more about reaching the community, right? And so, and then to answer your second question, I don't really have insight into like how we measure the success on Game Pass exactly, but of course all of our games are sort of filled with telemetry, and so we get data back all the time of hours played, and obviously the business team look at the sales on every platform, and I'm sure they have some metric for success on Game Pass. I'm not part of that team, so I'm not quite sure. I would presume it's something like hours played, or the amount of engagement with it on Game Pass. But we obviously have meetings where we look at the sales on each platform, and we have something called a dashboard, which is a live telemetry. So I could open it up now and see how many people are playing on each platform, how many people have played. We've been out 10 days and over 3 million players have already played Legends.
Congrats. That's amazing.
It's going pretty well, but it's just the beginning. So, yeah.
Wow. Kyle, go ahead, man.
No, that's super impressive, and just to hear that kind of stuff with analyzing telemetry of the game. And again, I'm still mesmerized by all the platforms. One thing that you mentioned earlier before that it was top of mind was kind of like you kind of logging in and kind of seeing the community issues, right? And the top, what's the concerns. Now, the one little nitpick Cog has is I wanted to talk about the co-op, because me and the Lords, we did a co-op stream, Minecraft Legends. So it's me, King David, Sov, Addict. And Sov had all the army. and I was just like, man, like he didn't understand. Like we definitely rushed through. We didn't go through the full tutorial with the detail that because we were just joshing around, having fun.
You say you're to blame, sir?
I'm just saying that someone didn't pay attention to the nuance of the game. So I was just like, man, he's controlling everything. So I guess my question is, what was the thought process, if you know, as far as like the way it's allocated amongst the players in co-op and that whole decision?
It's tricky, right? Because the game's designed to be cooperative. You know, you as a team, the goal is simple: destroy the enemy tower. But well, you're talking more about co-op as well. Of course, you can play the campaign in full play co-op. And so it's all about cooperation, and that's really interesting. You know, it brings up some challenges. Like we have a lot of discussions. There's a function called recall, which is the ability to recall back the mobs. But we have we're getting feedback from the community on that, and we're listening. And it's really hard to design systems for people if they don't talk to each other. And so we do have a ping system. And so in the game, there's a ping system, and so you can highlight coal. And ping it and say, I want coal. And so, you can help, or you can put pings on the map to say, go and attack this and stuff. But we're looking at the communication moving forward, because there isn't a ping or a way to say, give me some mobs. And so, sometimes you want that, though. It's really hard, because sometimes, Cognito, you may be back at the base building a huge base, and two of your other people might be off gathering, and someone might be attacking the piglins and getting the prismarine. And so you want somebody to have the big army because they're attacking the enemy. The question is, how do you communicate to a player, hey, can I have some of those mobs back? And so, it's really important. We're looking at these features. We're talking to the community. We are, communication is a high one. But super interesting. We actually dropped a hotfix yesterday, our first update, and fixed some major things. We are listening. We are changing. We are updating. Yesterday, I believe we fixed the ability to switch teams in multiplayer, so you can be with your friends. And I think we fixed if people come in as an Xbox party, it'll put you on one team. And so before it would split you up, and so we did that, and we fixed some performance things on Switch. There was a couple of little things there that were affecting the performance on Switch, and some localization issues with a couple of languages. But it's only been 10 days, but we wanted to get this particular fix out really quickly, because when we're seeing in PvP, I can't play with my friends. We're like, oh, we made a mistake. We need to fix that. And so we did it immediately, and we'll continue to update in the future and stuff. So we are listening. It's our future improvements are going to be based on community feedback. I was in the Discord yesterday, and someone in the community was like, do you even read the feedback channel? I'm like, yes. I go through all of it, and it's tricky as a designer, because how do you know if that issue is being voiced by a large vocal minority? Or how do you know if that's a pervasive issue across the whole community? And so it's tricky sometimes. You have to look for many comments on it or stuff. So it's tricky how to decide. When you've got lots of different things you want to fix, it's quite challenging to be in a meeting and say, is this more important than this? And how many players will it, and stuff. So, but yeah, listening all the time. And one of the great things about Minecraft is listening to the community, seeing what they want. Was very surprised to see comments of like, why isn't PvP ranked and like super competitive? I'm like, we would never have thought. This is our first PvP game. It's a big dedicated first PvP mode, and it's quite a new area for our team, doing a dedicated Minecraft game, dedicated PvP game in Minecraft. And the last thing you'd think is, let's make this with ranking and super hardcore,
make it nice and sweaty,
and stuff. But the community are actually saying, this is what we want and stuff. So it's comments like that are inputting to us and may change our decisions in the future for updates where we were going to do X, we might do Y instead, because that's what the community wants. And so we are flexible enough to listen and move should the community want a sort of specific thing.
Yeah, so awesome. It sounds like to me, obviously, I don't expect you to announce anything today, but it sounds like there's some kind of longer term plans for Minecraft Legends. Would that be correct? Like, you guys are going to keep supporting this for a while?
I can talk a little bit about it. So we have, I don't know if you've played it yet, we have a mode in the game called Lost Legends. And it's a challenge, and it's a bit different. Like the first one, the portal pile is like a horde mode, and you have to survive 20 waves. And I think in wave 20, there's like 400 piglins, and you better have built some good defenses by then because they're coming in. But if you defeat that, you get a unique skin. It's really nice. It's one of the sort of more epic skins. And so there's cosmetics, and we plan to release a Lost Legend every month. And in each one is like a twist on something really different. Not just the things you were doing in the campaign. There's some crazy ones, because they're supposed to be, as Legends is a bedtime story of like a villager talking to their kid in bed. These Lost Legends are other crazy stories, and who knows if they're true or not. But there's these stories, and so we have Lost Legends every month with the cosmetic updates. We are doing what we call title updates. We do have big updates planned. But as I said, we're still discussing the content there based on community feedback. And then we have something which we'll talk about a little bit later, but it's very exciting. We have something called myths. And what myths are marketplace content made by our creators, and it's brand new experiences in the Legends engine. So it could be something completely different. Just like, if you go into vanilla classic Minecraft marketplace, you might play something with dinosaurs or that's just not in Minecraft. This is our creator platform inside Legends, and we'll talk a little bit about it later, but we've already got some myths in the work and stuff's coming. So we're as well as our content and our updates, we're looking forward to the community and our creators who are amazing, making stuff that we would never think of and making crazy stuff. So lots coming for Legends. It's just it's been an interesting journey, but I think we joked last week that it's like, this is the end of the beginning, and now and now we like go into mode 2, which is post launch and stuff. So.
No, that's cool. It's cool to hear, and like to hear like user generated content, getting that engagement from the community, really, really cool. I just wanted to get how to get like a feel of the team in general. Now, you kind of cross the finish line. It's out there. Obviously, still working on it. You're still taking the feedback, but like, what's the temperature in the studio now that you have released in general? Like, how's everyone feeling?
It was really interesting because, to be honest, it's been a little while since I launched a game. I mean, I did Earth a couple of years ago, but such a large game on so many platforms, and I'd forgotten how emotional launch day is. Right? The first thing you do is you get up and you see the reviews hitting, and you're like, oh, I'm going to read the reviews. Do they like it? Do they not? And then before you know it, I'm watching Grienne on stream playing PvP, and I'm like, oh, I've been looking at the community all day. I need to get my work done. I've been so involved in the launch. But no, everyone, it changes, right? Everyone is incredibly exciting. We have something called a war room, and on launch day, there's like loads of us in one room, like watching the telemetry. Did anything go wrong? Do we need to fix anything super quickly? It was a super smooth launch. It was awesome.
Nice.
So everyone's excited at first. And really happy. It's like this release of, it's out there. I can't believe it. Is this real? And you're so happy for a couple of days, and then you're like, back to work. Because we always had a plan for post-launch content. It's not something like we were like, oh, on Wednesday, we should do some post-launch content. I mean, we already had a plan for it. We'd already been making design plans and production plans and stuff. So you get to sort of like celebrate for like a day, and then you're like, okay, well, we knew that there was desires for this matchmaking fix, so immediately we jumped on that because we wanted parties and friends to be able to play together. And so we sort of initially, it was excited, and then it was like, oh, we need to fix this. Let's fix the most important issue straight away, and then we can sit back a little bit, and now it's more happy, but in analysis mode. We are now listening to the community. We are making sure we make the right decisions moving forward. Listening to what the community really wants, comparing that to our initial plans, and then,
yeah, absolutely.
It's like you've been planning a party for 5 years, and then everyone comes to the party, and you're like, no one's dancing. What do we do? What do we do? We had a plan. Let's change the music. Let's get someone on the dance floor. And so, yeah, we get a little bit of time to be happy and celebrate together and give each other hugs, and then we're like, okay, We've got a plan. Let's go into our post-launch content. So, and I believe, I'm sure it's the same for every dev, right? They're like, happy to get it out, but then immediately trying to improve and see what's next.
That's the nature of today's game development scene, right?
It's so live.
Yeah, it's just has that kind of caught up to you at times where you're like, it just doesn't feel like it ended, like there isn't like that finality, because then probably after this, like, there's the transition to whatever's next for Minecraft, right?
I mean, it depends as well on the project, right? If you're working on something, like we call a live service game, like Minecraft Earth, you actually can't celebrate day one because you just launched. There's nothing to celebrate. With a live service game, something like Destiny or anything, it's literally like bash, 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 bash. You've already got like plans for, this is our update in 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. How do we keep the content going out, right? And so on a live service game, you don't even get to breathe. You don't get a chance to celebrate because it's like
what's next?
It's like you sending out the invites to the party. There's no party yet because and so it depends. It's a little bit different for Legends because it was like a classic release, right? And it immediately goes out to everyone. But yeah, live service games are tough. You don't get to. I've worked on some, and I really appreciate people who, if you play any live service games and that regular cadence of content comes out, that team are working so hard. And it's so much planning and so much work to because you've got to deliver on time, right? You've set up you set up this like everyone expects something on Tuesday, and even if you're developing new features and something goes wrong, you're like, we have to do something on Tuesday, And so I really respect anyone working in that field. So it really depends on what title you're working on. Sometimes you get to breathe a little, and sometimes it's just starting and it's just getting on. You're just getting on the bike. So
yeah. I respect it. I guess one of my final questions was kind of like, you talked about that war room. You talked about, everyone kind of glued to see how it's being received, the party atmosphere. Then you're always going to have a couple of, I don't call them party poopers, but people who didn't maybe review it as to what you guys, the standards you guys thought it may have hit, or, how do you guys process that? Or is it a situation where it's like, you may analyze like, hey, this person didn't give us credit, where we felt we deserved, in this aspect of the game, or vice versa, or, vice versa. I just want to know, like, how does a studio deal with criticism of a game in the review?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good point. We're really happy the game's out to everyone. We love that the community are loving it. I said like over 3 million people playing it. But to be honest, we're doing something new, and it isn't for everybody, right? I mean, some people may not have known much about Legends and might have expected a different game when they played it. And like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was. I thought I'd be 50,000 feet in the clouds with a mouse cursor playing Red Alert, giving out commands to everyone. And so it's not for everyone. And so the best thing, we can do is we analyze those reviews. We take away from it what we can, constructive criticism, and we then analyze it to say, is there something in here that we can take forward? And is there something? Was the game something that just wasn't for them, right? And that's fair enough. Or was it something where they liked it, but there's a few things they didn't like, and is that something we can address? So it depends, right? It depends if you just hate vanilla ice cream, or people are saying, it's quite nice, but I'd like chocolate chips in it, right? And so we take the positive out of every review. And I mean, I remember one review, the person actually playing it wasn't their cup of tea, but they gave it to the 8-10-year-old kid, and they were like, "This is the best thing I've ever played. I love it." And so it's hard when you're making a new experience in the brand, trying to put that Minecraft twist on it, do it something different and approachable. And so it was quite an adventurous concept for Minecraft. As you'll see from our launches, we always try and do something different. Like Legends, you wouldn't expect. It's a dungeon crawler with the Minecraft twist. And then, we've done, Dungeons with Minecraft twist with a dungeon crawler. And then we've got Legends with a strategic twist. And so we never like to do something expected. I'm sure, a couple of years ago, you would never expect if I said Minecraft's going to be releasing an action strategy game. You'd be like, what?
That was the hook for me, right? When we saw that announcement, I was like, what? That's awesome.
And with PvP and everything. Cool. So we're doing something bold and different, and it won't be for everyone. But the best thing we can do is take the constructive feedback positively, and then look at it for our future updates and say, how can we make this better if there's things that we can fix? But unfortunately, we can't fix it for someone who just doesn't like that type of game.
Sure.
Of course.
I mean, if you're into like hidden object games, then maybe Legends
ain't for
isn't for you. And that's fine. That's why we have Game Pass has so many games in it. Maybe you want to go play something else. But we take it, we read it all. It can be hard, if someone doesn't like it, because you're like, but you don't take it personally and you try and dig deeper and find out what were the issues. Was it not just for them, or was there a system that wasn't quite right, and can we improve it? So you have to sort of like try and put it in those buckets. Is it something I can deal with, or is it something I just can't even address and stuff?
Yeah.
But overall, we're really happy with the reviews, and we're really happy that everyone's getting to enjoy it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm actually working on a game, right? And so this is something I got to live vicariously through you with, Craig, because the thing that I stress a bit right now in this process is when that day comes, because it is your baby for so long, right? And I'm wondering for you on a couple of fronts, like you're seasoned veteran, been there for a while, you've been through the launch periods and all that stuff. Is there a difference when you launch, like, I'll go back to the Fat Princess example, right? Like small, sounds more like intimate style game for you guys, versus something like Minecraft, which is yours in a sense, but not yours. Is that you already mentioned like some can be tough to read, right? Because you put your heart and soul into it. You guys, I think Minecraft Legends is fantastic, and clearly tell the team really had a good time working on it.
Great.
But is there that what is that anxiety like waking up on launch day and knowing the reviews are there, or is that
horrible
different from product to product? Because I think to me, it's the night before. That's what I think about sometimes. We're doing our best, but that night before, I'm thinking like, do not
stay up till midnight and look at it at 12:01, because you'll be up till 5 a.m. and you won't get any sleep. Get up in the morning, get yourself a cup of coffee, get yourself comfortable, have an open mind, and look. You have to try and find the meaning in there. Like, people might say harsh words, but then you might, it's this. Oh, they should have played on a higher difficulty and it would have been more challenging and they would have had a better time or something. But it is a little bit different. I've been an indie developer. I've been in large teams. The Minecraft team is super agile, but when you're an indie developer, Fat Princess was made with 7 people, right? So in terms of agility, you could do anything. You could do like, our update's going to be this, and we're going to change it completely, because with something, when you're an indie, it's your brand. You can do what you want with it. Okay. Right. So, when it's Minecraft, there's a bigger machine, right? There's more people, there's marketing, you have to have more of a plan. And so even before launch, we had our post-launch plans. And so it just requires more organization, and it's still agile, but there's just more people involved. And when it was Fat Princess, it was just pretty much up to me. I'd be like, we're adding giants. What? Yeah. And ninjas. Like, what? You're crazy. But then, of course, it's your own brand. Whereas, when we're adding updates to Minecraft, we're still adding to that universe, and we're thinking about how it connects to vanilla and the brand and the lore and stuff. So there's just a little bit more. It's an existing franchise. And so, there's more to consider when developing for something larger. But the moment to moment, getting up, getting your coffee, opening your favorite
website,
Christmas looking
morning
at the
almost.
review.
Yes.
It is Christmas morning.
A little more tension on Christmas.
But the
did Santa come or not?
But the presents are for random people, and you don't know what's going to be in it. It could be your favorite thing in the world, or there could be like, I don't know, a rotten cake in there. I don't know. You just, it's like, imagine, it's a really weird analogy, but imagine if you just like stole 100 presents. You'd have like no idea what's in them. Is it going to be a pair of socks, or is it going to be in Series X? I don't know. And so it's a very unique experience. Can I ask you, Mr. Duke, don't tell me anything about it, but what sort of phase are you in with your own personal thing? Are you like early or later, or?
Yeah, we're early. We're heading into pre-alpha.
Don't worry about that stuff now.
Yeah, I know. It's because it's my first time going through all this stuff. You know, I'm
No.
fortunately surrounded by more experienced people, which is good.
Right.
But it's just like I've been big on when we do these types of interviews. Like I'm just trying to be a sponge, soak in the experience where I can, just learn where I
You can call me anytime. Call me up.
I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah. It's
Love
just trying to be an open mind, be prepared in all the right ways, and just understand like.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the end of the world type of moment. Like my head will sometimes trick me into making it feel like. And so you just, you know, kind of getting that, because we oftentimes when we do this show, we don't have the chance to interview right after launch, right? Like we're doing here.
Yeah.
It's usually we're heading in before. It's kind of a more marketing sort of approach. So it's really cool to get to speak to you and just get a feel like, hey, we're fresh off that release. Like, what is that feeling? Because I've personally never had that opportunity to just kind of tap into that and see what it's like. But no, I really appreciate the insight, and I appreciate you opening the line, man. That's great.
No, I mean, what I would say to you is if you're doing, you know, anything creative on your own is have a vision, stick to that vision, and don't listen to distractions, right? Just because some game came out and did this new mechanic doesn't mean you have to do it. Just because people like it. Like, no, stick,
Yeah.
Have a clear vision, stick to what you want to make. You know, I read once that Shigeru Miyamoto doesn't even play other people's games. Like he knows what he's making. I mean, he was in the garden one day drinking his iced tea, and an ant came past carrying like a bottle cap or something. And he's like, Pikmin. And so, you know, like you get this inspiration, and you have to stick to your vision, right? And it's the same with Legends, right? We had this vision of the feeling of a commander wanting to be on the battlefield, and you have to make tough decisions, right? People like, why can't I destroy buildings with my sword? Well, if you did that, you'd never use any of your troops because you wouldn't feel like a commander. And actually getting like 50 cobblestone golems and going, destroy that, and them charging in and smashing it is really empowering.
They terrorize.
You know, stick to your vision and be, you know, have conviction and you know, just focus on making the best thing you can, right? And
absolutely.
You know, just stay on target.
Yeah.
Stay on target.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Oh, there we go. I was about to circle back to that.
I like that.
Cog, you got any more questions for him? I got one more, but if you have anything else.
I just want to give kudos, man. I mean, you know, when hearing Craig talk about a launch like this, you forget the scope. You forget the platforms. You forget having to stay within almost like the MCU, the Minecraft cinematic universe, and still follow, and then also try something different, right?
And push the boundaries, right? And
exactly,
you know, introducing when the hosts in Minecraft are our first talking characters. The hosts, we introduced new golems.
Yes.
We introduced three new you know, what we call like hordes of piglins. You know, there was a lot of new stuff. So you're right. It's you have like a playground, but it's like which piece of equipment are you going to go play on, right? And but you've got to stay in the playground, but you've got to try and like make something new and fresh and take some risks and stuff. So you know, it is challenging.
Yeah, definitely want to give you guys flowers, man. Because again, there's a lot of complexities to that, and again, the cooperative aspect, campaign aspect, you know, all that good stuff. And PvP, and then look, in full, you know, disclosure, you know, the fact that it is really a pretty game with the biomes and things of that nature. Yeah. It really looks good. I had to be surprised. As a person who's normally biased against those type of games, because I'm like, I feel like I'm too old. I shouldn't be playing this. But like
now the demographic suggests, man. I mean,
right, the demographic, he blew my mind with that. I was like, wow, I did not realize that. But it was really cool. And I'm going through a mountainous area. And then it was like almost these different biomes. You start to see it. I go through the thorns and that kind of stuff. So it was really cool to see the attention to detail. And again, salute to the team for that, man. It really is a nice game.
It's a little tricky because I'm sure you guys know that both the PvP and the campaign are procedurally generated. And so every time you play PvP, it's different every time, and the campaign's a little bit different. And so what we have to do is we create biomes. And so we create the frosted peaks, and we say diamond is always in there, right? And the jungle, redstone's always there, and you'll find the beetles in there because we've got 3 new mounts. But then what we do with the procedural generation is it's like, okay, well, where is that biome? How big is it? You know, where is it in relation to all the other things? Where am I placing the piglin bases? And so we have to create this beautiful game, and it is incredibly beautiful. But then we've got to like mix that with the procedural generation and make sure that it makes like You know, you don't want 3 of the piglin chords on top of one another, or
Right.
and so it takes a long time to massage the algorithm, so you get these really interesting worlds. And one of the challenges a lot of game devs have very early in development is the size of the world, right? How big is the world? The bigger it is, the more you've got to fill it, and you've got travel time and everything. And so we have to play with world size, and the PvP world is a lot smaller because we want intense battles, right? We don't want giant maps and stuff. So yeah, it's beautiful, and then there's a lot of magic that goes on in the procedural generation there too. And so yeah, I love it. I mean, I just love riding through the biomes and stuff. My favorite is the Regal Tiger, because the tiger goes so quick. He runs really quick, and so you can get through the biomes really quick.
My favorite was the mountainous regions. Hopping up and
I love
going
the
through
swamps personally. Like it was just.
Did you find the big beak? There's 3 mounts. There's the brilliant beetle that basically will climb up vertical surfaces and go quickly in water. And so it's great for PvP because you just go straight over the walls, right? It doesn't matter. There's a big beak. It jumps really high and glides. And so you can go up on a mountain, jump and glide, and do recon. And you can be like,
nice.
That's what the enemy's doing. Okay. And then there's the Regal Tiger that's really fast. I'll show you. Stay there. Watch. Here you go.
Oh, he got it. He's gonna break it down.
This settup's got everything. There it is.
Let's go.
That's the Regal Tiger.
Let's go.
And then
what else we got? What we got?
Beak.
See, I was going to ask you for tips and tricks, and you breaking it down live.
And so, yeah, the good thing is, I mean, as I said, with the procedural generation, those mobs live in certain biomes. So if you want a beetle, it's in the jungle. If you want, and so once you learn where those mobs live, where they inhabit, you can open the map at the beginning of the PvP game and go, I want the tiger. It'll be in this biome. Whoosh, go get it. And so, yeah, it took a lot of work to make it so beautiful, and we have to make it look like Minecraft, but a little bit different. And so you can tell straight away if you saw a screenshot, you'd be like, that's Minecraft. There's iron and coal in the floor and redstone. But you're like, but I've not seen it from that perspective before, or that graphical style. So
yeah.
You always have to put a little twist on it, right? And, it was important for us, for people to look at screenshots and go, that's Minecraft, but what is that? I want to go play that, right? And so it's hard to do sometimes, right?
Yeah. My last question, this probably could have been put in a better order as a host. I noticed these types of things, but it's just a question I ended up wanting to really ask you is, you guys led off the first ever developer direct, and I thought that was a pretty significant thing. I just wanted to know a little bit about the process. This is a big step as an Xbox podcast. We've talked a lot about, we want to have this kind of specific show for Xbox outside of your standard showcases in the summer and whatnot. Like we're seeing State of Play, Nintendo Direct, like what's Xbox going to do? And they come out with this high production value show that really put I think a lot of strength into the brand and showcased all these individual pieces that are really supporting what their future is. And you guys got to lead it off, which I thought was really crazy, man. I mean, that was awesome to see. So what was it like, to be a part of that? And did you know you were leading off when you guys were filming this whole thing?
I didn't. And so it was interesting is you hear that like you're going to be part of this direct and you're like, cool. And I believe that the desire was to show the people behind the games, which I think is wonderful. Quite often you get people like me just talking and there's like hundreds of people invisibly behind them, and it should be those people who are talking. So I think that was wonderful. But what's really interesting is I didn't even know what other games would be in the direct. I had no idea. I had no idea about Hi-Fi Rush. I had no idea. I had no idea.
Watching like as a fan almost.
So of course I'm watching, and then I'm like, that's me, because I was in there. There's lots of fun things, and so a recording. So we're told that we're going to be in this. We have this wonderful opportunity to be part of this development direct. So we're like, yes, we want to do it. And then the TV crew comes to we have a really nice Minecraft office, and then this like horde of people come with like, it's amazing now the technology. You'd think it'd be these giant cameras on wheels, but now because they can have super large hard drives, they've literally just got portable mini cameras, and they can see the live feed straight away what they're recording. And so you record like so much footage. It's insane for that little. I mean, I think my part was over an hour and a half, and then they end up using like 3 minutes of it or something. But it just gives them enough flexibility to edit, and you guys appreciate that, and make the right cuts and stuff. And so they were recording up at Vancouver at BBI. They're recording in our studio. It was lots of fun. What you can't tell is when I'm actually in that direct is I'm standing on a box. Because the person I'm with, Nathan, is much taller than me, and they're like, "You're only up to his shoulder. This looks silly. Stand on this box." And so I'm standing on a 5-inch box just so I'm in frame better, which is hilarious.
To the box,
and we make lots of takes, and they, it was very casual. They just asked us questions, and we talked about it and stuff. But then I suppose it's a bit like being an actor in a movie, right? You do your scenes. You have no idea what the movie's going to be like. And so when it was on the direct, I get to see it for the first time. To be honest, I did see it the day before because marketing shared the cut with us and said, this is what it'll be like. But then it was really great to watch the show. I didn't know we were leading it out. So that was amazing. Yeah. It was great to see all the people from the studio in there. And then, of course, I'm then sitting back watching everything else. I'm like, what's this Hi-Fi Rush? Oh, my God, more news on Forza, Elder Scrolls. So it's great. I mean, Xbox is such a large family now, and we have so many amazing studios that I'm in my Mojang bubble, right? And I'm just doing my Minecraft things. I have no exposure into what these other studios are doing. And so I find out when you find out. It's those directs where I find out what Microsoft's doing. The old E3 reveals, world exclusive. Yes. I'm like, what's this? Because I don't know what it is. Confidentiality is super important, and we keep things very confidential within Minecraft. So I know things that are going on in the Minecraft universe, but I actually have no idea what's going on at Bethesda or anywhere else, right? Or the Coalition, because they're in there, doing their own thing. So those shows are really exciting because you're part of it, but then they're also exciting because you have no idea what the other videos are going to be like. But I really liked that format. I thought it was wonderful to see the people behind the games, the people making the games, to see their passion, to get an insight into the studios. I thought that was really nice, rather than having someone like me sitting on a couch trying to explain the game to somebody, right? I loved everybody being part of it, and you could just see their passion for what they were doing. So I thought that was, I have no idea what's going to happen in the future, but I thought it was a great format, and I hope they do more of that in the future because it was pretty cool.
I hope so too. We certainly loved it. Cog, anything else you want to ask Craig before we wrap up?
We had the legend. We had the legend here in the realm of
the only legend is Minecraft Legends. That's
which is out now. And thank you so much for taking the time. And I love hearing stories like this. Love hearing about your journey. Your career is just outstanding accomplishments. And who's who.
I haven't done anything.
Oh, stop!
I still got lots to do. I'm still young, right? I've still got lots to go.
And by far the best guest or Duke with the background. By far, he has won the championship for the background. We got the Groceries going on.
It is not Star Wars. It's not a background. It is real. It's not a background.
Yes, it is official. This man is a collector, and I love it. Thank you so much for the time.
You're very welcome.
Enjoyable. Much appreciated.
I'm happy to come back and talk anytime.
Excellent.
Do hit me up when you get a little bit further in dev, and
I got you, man.
You wanna like, oh my God, I'm launching. What's going on? I'll get you a box of tissues. Just for that, or get you something to deal with the stress. Nice. But I'm very grateful for you guys having me on, and thank you so much for your time. And always happy to talk Minecraft. Should you wish to have me back one day.
Of course, no, absolutely. Doors always open. We always encourage returning interviews when you guys got something new you want to talk about. We'll stay in touch, but we really appreciate that. And thank you so much for making the time. And are you on social media or anything? Do you want to plug that in, like where people can find you, or is that not your thing?
He's low.
I'm not really. I sort of,
that's fine.
I view social media and I'm looking at the community and stuff, but I'm always wary of like, what if I say the wrong thing? I'm in I know lots of things, and I'm just wary. Like, what if I post a picture and this is in the background, but it's not coming out for like a year? Well, I get
they go to DLC.
So I'm just really wary of sort of being too I'm busy. I've got lots to do as well. So
of course,
yeah. But
I think you're making the right choice.
I also wanted just to thank you guys for all your great episodes and for your commitment to to Xbox and bringing people on to talk about the development stuff. I'm sure your community love to hear and have these type of guests. So thank you so much for all your work and all of your wonderful episodes. So thank you.
Wow, that made my day, man.
Appreciate it.
No, you guys are awesome, man. I'm just making games. You guys are like, out there, informing the community about what's going on. I love it.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you,
much. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I love going around here. We appreciate you, Craig.
You guys are awesome.
Looking forward to having you back. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, that's our interview with Craig for Minecraft Legends. We appreciate you tuning in. I'm sure he'll be back sometime when there's more to talk about, when we're ready to build some blocks. But until then, thank you all so much for tuning in to Defining Duke Ultimate. This is episode 110, and we'll see you next time around for episode 111. Until then, take great care of yourselves and peace out.
Bye.
Peace.
Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is a product and trademark of Last Stand Media and Collins Last Stand LLC and is recorded from the United States of America. The show is conceived by Matthew Mr. Matty Plays Schroeder and me, Colin Moriarty, and is written and produced by Matthew Schroeder. Matty's co-host is Barry Lord Cognito Eversley. Defining Duke's executive producer is Dustin Furman, and the show is edited by associate producer Ben Smith. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. As you know, all of Last Stand Media's shows, including Defining Duke, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer support level on Patreon, and we're thankful for your kindness and generosity.